In today's session, I will be discussing the decision table with respect to the next date problem. When it comes to this problem, so we will have 3 tries. This is what I will call it as a equivalence class. For try 1, we can calculate the next date even if it is not a leap year. Hello, my dear students. I welcome all of you to the yet another interesting session on software testing. Yes, what exactly I will be discussing with all of you today. So please understand, I have discussed one of the important topic with respect to the decision table in my previous session. Yes, in my previous session, I have discussed the decision table with respect to the triangle problem, but in today's session, I will be discussing the decision table with respect to the next date problem. Yes, before you watch this session, I recommend all of you to please go back and check what exactly next date problem is all about. Yes, I have done a session on that. I request all of you to go back and check that session before you watch this. Without wasting much of your time, let me get into the session. So what I will be discussing in today's session. So guys, I will be discussing one of the important topic with respect to the decision table, that is all about the problem with respect to the testing for next date. Yes, I will be discussing that. When it comes to this problem, so we will have 3 tries. Okay, so I will be discussing the first 2 tries in this session, that is try 1 and try 2 in this session is what I would like to tell all of you. Yes, without wasting much of your time again, so we are getting into the session. So what is that I have before I start the problem? So what is the prior knowledge that we should have? So please observe, I have the equivalence class for try 1. What exactly is this? I want all of you to be a little careful. So please understand, I will be explaining in detail now. What exactly equivalence class with respect to the try 1? So please understand, I have taken M1. So what is the meaning of M1 here? What is the meaning of M2? What exactly all these things is all about? Yes, in my previous session, I have described, I have explained each and every parts of the decision table. So in that, I have discussed one of the important part, that is condition stub. So please make a note of it. This is what I will call it as a condition stub. So fine, if I say whenever I use M1, you need to understand M1 is a condition. So in that condition, what is the condition that I have given? So month has got 30 days. M1 in the sense you need to understand that I have got 30 days in the M1. So fine, I understood that. So what is the meaning of M2? In the same way, you need to understand these months has got 31 days. So what exactly 30 days and 31 days that you are speaking? So in a year, each month has got different days, right? So some of the months has got 30 days, some of the months has got 31 days. I have discussed this in detail in my previous session, that is next date problem. Okay, so please go back and check. That's why I told you. All right, so if you have seen that, so you will not get any doubts here. Okay, that is what I would like to recommend all of you at this point of time. So fine, right now, what is that you need to understand? So M1 is a condition. So what is the condition? So the months which has got 30 days. M2 is a set of months which has got 31 days. So fine, then what is this M3? So M3 in the sense month is February. That's what you need to understand. So fine, with respect to the months, I have 3 conditions, that is M1, M2, M3. Fine, if I say date, so I will have 3 things, right? So date, month, year. So if I want to calculate the next date, 3 things will come. So I have discussed this M here with the 3 conditions. What is the next thing that I will discuss? I have D1, D2, D3, D4. Yes, you are guessing it right. I will be speaking with respect to the days. So fine, what is the first condition that I have? First condition speaks the day, it should be in the range 1 to 28. The days will be within 1 to 28. That is what you need to understand. So that I am going to store in D1. So fine, If I say D2, what is that? I need to understand. If I say D2, you need to understand that it is equal to 29. I'm speaking with respect to the day 29. That is what you need to understand. So fine. If I say D3, you will understand obviously it is day 30. That's what you need to understand. And day 4, that is D4 in the sense day 31. That's what you need to understand here. So fine, I have discussed 3 conditions with respect to the month and 4 conditions with respect to the day. And I have 2 conditions with respect to the year. That is the last one, that is Y. So what is the first condition that I have? Y1. Y1 in the sense, year is a leap year. That's what I'm checking here. Y2 in the sense, year is not a leap year, is what you need to understand at this point of time. So fine, this is what I will call it as a equivalence class for try 1. So we have understood this in detail. So now it's time for all of us to understand some of the, please understand, mutual exclusion condition before we go to the decision table. So you need to keep it in your mind. So what is the mutual exclusion condition? It's obviously, it's a known fact that all of us know. So I have M1, M2, M3. That is a condition 1, 2, 3, right? So fine. So I cannot have true for all the 3. So obviously, right? So what is the meaning of it? So say for example, C1, that is M1. Okay. So fine, it is true. Again, in the same way, it cannot be true. So what is the meaning of it? So we are not understanding it. So please understand. Okay. So here, I cannot say that all the 3 conditions are true for one input. Is it possible? No, it is not possible. All these 3 conditions cannot be true. All these 3 conditions cannot be true. Somehow the other way, it will be false. So that's what you need to understand. That's what they are trying to explain with a mutual exclusion condition. All the 3 conditions cannot be true together is what you need to understand. So fine. This is what the mutual exclusion condition is what you need to understand. So this is my playground. You need to make a little note on this whenever I'm explaining. It's very simple. It's very easy. I think you will not take much effort to understand this. Probably you might feel that no, a lot of things are there on the screens. We are not finding it easy. So, but I'm here to make it very simple and easy. That's what you need to understand. So please listen to me carefully. All right. So guys, what is that we have here? So this is what I will call it as a decision table. This is what I will call it as a decision table. So fine. In this decision table, I will have 4 important things. What is that I will have? I will have 4 important things. What exactly is that? The first important thing that I will have is condition stub. So this is what I will call it as a condition stub. C1 to C9. So this is what I will have. I will call this as a condition stub. So C1 is a condition, C2 is a condition, C3 is a condition, C4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All these things are the condition. Just now we have discussed this. So please observe all these things. I'm writing it as a conditions. Whatever I have discussed just now with all of you, this is what I will be treating it as a conditions. So I'm just giving a name for it. So C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, 7, 8, 9. So that's what you need to understand. So fine, for this condition, so this is what I will call it as an input. All right. For this input, what will be my output? So that is what I will call it as an action. So this is what you need to understand it as a action stub. So this column, I will call it as a stub. Okay. In this stub, I will have 2 parts. One is condition stub, another one is action stub. So fine. When it comes to action stub, what do you call it as an action stub? The output is what I will call it as a action stub. So fine, how many entries are there? How many things that I need to consider? So I have A1 and A2. So fine. So when it comes to A1, I have impossible. And when it comes to A2, I have next date. So that's what you need to understand. So fine. So what is the meaning of C1? C1 in the sense month in M1. So this is the first condition. That's what you need to understand. So this is what I will call it as a M1. That is This is what I will call it as a M1. I'm just renaming it with a C1. So fine. So in the same way, this is what I will call it as a C2. This is what I will call it as a C3. So fine. I understood that. The fourth condition is D1. That's what you need to understand. Fifth condition is D2. So please understand. So like this, I have listed out all these conditions in my decision table. Fine. You understood all these things. Now, so what are the other two parts? You told 4 parts are there in the decision table, right? Yes. So my dear students, so please understand. So whatever I have here, okay. So this is what I will call it as a condition entries. This is what I will call it as a condition entry, and this is what I will call it as a action entry. So please remember this carefully. So fine, I understood what exactly this decision table is all about, how exactly it is working. Let's understand this. So this is a basic knowledge that you need to know. So let me erase it. So please observe carefully. The picture starts now. Before you understand the picture, so you should know what is next date. So let me just give you quickly what is next date is all about. Say for example, I'll give you one date. Say for example, I will give 13. So 01 and 1991. Okay, this is my date. So if I enter this date, system should be able to tell me what is the next date. So that next date is 14/01/1991. This is what I need to do. So this is what the next date problem, but I will encounter a lot of problems. I will encounter a lot of problems like, 28 days are there in a month, 29 days are there in a month, 30 is there in a month, 31 days is there in a month. How do I calculate if I want to go to the next month? How do I calculate if it is a leap year? All those things I have neatly explained in my previous session of next date problem. So please check that before you start this. This is what I would like to tell you. So fine, let's get into it. So guys, what exactly I have here? So I have true. So for C1, okay. So I have true for C1. So C1, it is true. C1 in the sense it is M1. So fine. Okay. And then again for C4, it is true. So what is C4? D1. All right. So fine. D1 is true. And then after that I have, so year 1, it is true. So year 1, it is true. So please understand this. So M1 in the sense I have 30 days in a month. So fine. D1 in the sense my days will be 1 to 28. So fine. So if this is the condition that I have to check. So yes, it is holding good, and the year is leap year. So fine, it holds good. So there is no problem with that. So what is that you need to understand? I have taken a month which has got 30 days. So fine. So 30 days are there in that month. So any one month. So fine. And my next condition is my days, whatever I'm calculating the day. So it is in the range, between 1 to 28. So fine, there is no problem for me. So fine. And it is a leap year. Yes, no issues for me. So I have taken 3 conditions. Is it possible for me to calculate the next date? Is what I'm asking. So the answer is yes, it is possible. Yes, it is possible. That is what you need to understand with respect to the decision table. So fine, we'll go to the next entry. I will trace the next entry to all of you. So please listen to me carefully. So I'm going to the next entry. So what is the next entry that I have? So even in the next entry, so the first one, that is M1, they are saying M1 in the sense in month 30 days are there. So any one month which is having 30 days. So that month I'm taking. So fine. What is the next entry that I have? C4. C4 in the sense what? So please understand C4 in the sense D1. So fine. So my days which is coming, the day is between 1 to 28. So I have no issues. I'm taking it. All right. So that is what the condition that I'm taking. And one more condition, that is year. So it is not a leap year. So fine. I have no issues. Can I calculate the next date? Yes, of course you can calculate the next date. I have no issues. Fine. What is the third condition that I have? Same M1 I have 30 days. And what is the next condition that I have? D2. What is the next condition that I have? D2. D2 in the sense what? 29 days. So M1, okay. D2. So D2 in the sense what? So please observe 28 days. Is it? No. So D2 in the sense, please observe it is 29 days. Let me write 29 here. So fine. So 29 I have written. So what is the next condition that I have? So please observe the year. What I have is C8 in the sense Y1. So what is Y1 here? So Y1 in the sense year is a leap year. So if this is the case, can I calculate the next date? So that's what I'm checking. Yes, I can calculate the next date. That's what you need to understand. So fine. So what is the next condition that I have? Again, the month is same, which is M1. So 30 days I have. So when I have 30 days, so please understand. So what is the days condition that I have? So it's D2 again. D2 in the sense 29. So fine, I have 29 days. So what is that I have with a year? So with a year, so please understand, year is not a leap year. Can I calculate in this condition? Can I calculate the leap year? Is what we are checking. Yes, we can calculate the next date even if it is not a leap year. That's a condition that you need to know. So fine, we understood that. Then what is the next condition? Sir, it is very important that you need to observe me. So when I'm tracing, I will not be able to identify or I will not be able to calculate the next date. So in which condition? So please wait until I come to that particular point. So fine, moving on to the next rule. What exactly all these things is? This is rule 1. Okay. So like this, each column is treated as rule 1, rule 2, rule 3, rule 4. So it goes on. That's what you need to understand here. So fine, I'm going to the rule number, rule 2, rule 3, rule 4, and this is rule 5, which I'm going to explain now for all of you. So I consider the same month which has got the 30 days, and then when it comes to month, so what is that I have? D3. What is that I have? D3. So D3 in the sense what? So I have 30 days. D3 in the sense what? 30 days. So fine, I have 30 days, right? So what is that? Year. So year is a leap year. Year is a leap year. That's what you need to identify. That's what you need to understand. So can I calculate the next date here? So yes, you can calculate the next date is what you need to understand. Fine. There is no issue till here, till the rule number 5 to calculate the next date. I can calculate the next date. So fine. I'm moving on to the rule number 6. All right. So even in the rule number 6, I have T in the rule number 1, that is M1. So I have 30 days with me. And then again, I'm coming to the second rule, that is second condition that I need to check, that is D3. So what is the meaning of D3? 30 days. So fine. So this 30 days I'm checking for what? Which is not a leap year. So in this case, so what is that we are trying to check? Can I calculate the next date? Yes, you can calculate the next date, but here you need to understand. So till here, whether we are able to calculate the next date or not with this conditions is what we are checking. That's what you need to understand. But now it's time for us to spend little time. So please listen to me carefully now. It's very important that you need to understand. So fine. What is the next condition that I have? Rule number 7. Rule number 7. When it comes to rule number 7, I will take this M1. So M1 in the sense what? How many days you will have in a month? So 30 days I will have in a month. So fine. That is very important that you need to make a note of it. 30 days I will have in my month. So fine. I understood that. Rule number 7. So fine. I will check the next condition. So what is the next condition that I have? D4. So what exactly D4 is all about? D4 in the sense 31 days. So here it is a mistake. So here it is not possible. So how it is not possible? When I have 30 days in my month, I should take the months which has got the 30 days and my days is 31. How it is possible? Is it possible for me to calculate the next day? No, it is not possible. That's why I'm marking it as a impossible. I'm not able to calculate the next date in this condition. So fine. So I will move to the next rule, that is rule number 8. So please observe rule number 8. I will take M1 itself again, but when it comes to the days, so I will take the D4 itself and I will check for the next condition of year, that is not a leap year. Again, I will not be able to calculate the next date is what you need to understand. So here my condition fails to calculate the next date. So fine. So I'm moving on to the rule number 9. Okay. When it comes to rule number 9, I will change my month. That is, I will move to the next month. That is M2. M2 in the sense 31 days. So fine. I've taken 31 days. What is the next condition that I have? D1. D1 in the sense what? 31 days. My range is between 1 to 28. Of course, I can have it. And then again year. So it is a leap year. So fine. There is no problem for me. I can calculate the next date. Even in the same way, I can calculate the R10, R11, R12. R10, 11, 12, I can calculate the next date is what you need to understand with respect to the table. Let's trace it quickly. So what is that I have in the R10? So month is M2. So can I take M2? Yes, you can take M2 because you have 30 days. So fine. So what is the next one that you have? You are taking the days. That is how many days you are taking? So 1 to 20 days, and you are taking, what is that you are taking in the year? So you are taking, it is not a leap year. So that's what you need to understand. Can I calculate the next date? Yes, you can calculate the next date is what you need to understand. So fine. When it comes to R11, again, I'm considering the month 2. So what is the number of days? 31 days you have. So fine. So I have, what is the next one that I have? C5, D2. So when it comes to D2, so please understand 29 days. What is the number of days? 29 days. So first thing, so please understand. So I have taken M2 and 29 days. Can I have it? Yes, of course you can have it. There is no problem. In a month, you have taken 31 days and the day is 29. Yes, of course you can have it. There is no issue with that. And you have taken in the R11. So you have taken it as a leap year. So no problem. You can calculate the next date. The last entry, be careful and understand. So I have taken the M2. So guys, what is M2? 31 days. And I have taken, so D2. So what is D2? So please understand, it is 29 days. And I've taken it's not a leap year. Can I calculate with this condition the next date? Yes, of course, you can calculate the next date. But what is that you have observed? I will not be able to calculate in these two conditions. So I failed here. So then how do we solve this? So for that, I will be coming up with the next try to. In that try to, we will be enhancing this problem. Okay. So I have explained the try one in this session, and I want all of you to understand what we have done. So we are just trying to calculate the next date with a different condition, but we failed in some of the two conditions. So guys, to enhance that, we will be checking out with a try to, all right? So which I will be doing it in the next session. So don't forget to watch the next session to understand the try to, all right? So with respect to the next date decision table. Thank you very much.